So let's look at this picture. Going back, we can see that the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman have been in conflict throughout history, and this has been fulfilled continuously in various spiritual and literal ways. There's been the serpent versus Eve, and Cain versus Abel. And just to make note, in Revelation it defines the seed of the woman as those which keep the commandments of God. Okay? And it also mentions a remnant of those that keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. And so when we're looking over the history here, we can see that there have been various groups of people throughout time who have been those who keep the commandments of God. Even if they didn't have the testimony of Jesus Christ as Christians do today. Looking at the Jews, we're looking at Noah's line, and Abel was a righteous prophet. So these all count as those which keep the commandments of God. So even before Israel. So we have the serpent versus Eve, we have Cain versus Abel, we have the sinning angels of Genesis 6 and the nephilim versus the woman, Noah's line. After the flood, we see there's the Gentile nations, the divine council, the demons versus Israel and the Israelites. We see that in this time, there's Satan, there's the fallen angels of the divine council, powers and principalities, there's demons, and just the world, versus Jesus Christ and his body, the church, the Christians. And then we also can see the several instances that are very clearly defined in Scripture of Jesus versus Satan in this cyclic prophecy. Looking at this, as such, the words of the prophecy, seed, woman, and bruise, have had various meanings. The seed of the serpent has meant the snake, it's meant fallen angels, nephilim, demons, it's meant evil people. The seed of the woman has meant from Abel to Noah's line, the Israelites to Christians. And to bruise, use both of Jesus bruising Satan's head and Satan bruising Jesus' heel. The word bruise here at various times is meant to kill, to hurt the body of, to deceive or get killed, to break power of, to cast to earth, to cast into prison of the abyss, to cast into the lake of fire. And the words head and heel have also had various particular meanings in their technical fulfillments. But the point of these terms is that the same symbolic comparative difference, what the words show in importance between an injury to the head versus an injury to the heel, that has remained the same in all of the fulfillments. And from all of that we can gather point 8, that in cyclic prophecies the same words can have different meanings in different fulfillments, but the relative symbolism of comparisons or actions represented between words is the same. We see bruising of the head versus bruising of the heel. In comparison, the head is a much more important thing to bruise than the heel. There's a lot more damage done when you bruise the head than if you bruise the heel. So we're seeing the same relative comparison going on. This prophecy in Genesis 3:15, which was given after sin began, will end when sin is finished, and it has been fulfilled in some way continuously and will be for almost all of linear time. It is sort of like a fractal stretching over the world in all time of categorized groups of people and entities, repeating the pattern of good and evil. This prophecy started being fulfilled shortly after it was given, with enmity between Eve and the serpent. But then definitely fulfillment was shown about the future with enmity between Cain and Abel. And since the first part of this prophecy was fulfilled the first time, this prophecy has continued to be fulfilled in various ways and will continue to be fulfilled in various ways until it has all been fulfilled and can be fulfilled no more. It's like a fractal. As such, we have point 9. Once a cyclic prophecy has begun and started to be fulfilled in part, it can continue to be fulfilled in various ways until it is all fulfilled and can be fulfilled no more, like a fractal. This is as is spoken of in Ecclesiastes 1. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, See, this is new? It hath been already of old time which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So, what do I mean it's like a fractal? What is a fractal? Well, a fractal deals with fractions. It's a visual of an equation, whether there's fractal, there's fractional parts, and it's visually represented. So, to quote Wikipedia, a fractal is a mathematical set that has a fractal dimension that usually exceeds its topological dimension and may fall between the integers. Fractals are typically self-similar patterns, where self-similar means they are the same from near as from far. Fractals may be exactly the same at every scale, or they may be nearly the same at different scales. The definition of fractal goes beyond self-similarity per se to exclude trivial self-similarity and include the idea of a detailed pattern repeating itself. Now, in detailed pattern, we're talking about something that can be described in detail. You can get a picture of it. Okay? So now we're going to look at a video of a fractal to get a better understanding of what a fractal is. This is the Mandelbrot set. And look at this shape and take a picture of it. We have 3 circles there. One of them is rather heart looking. And we keep going down. And what do we see? We're still seeing this 3 circle shape repeating. Look here, a little to the left of the middle of the screen, we see the same heart shape, and then a circle, then another circle. It's the same shape we started with. This pattern has repeated, this describable pattern. It's a visual pattern, but it has repeated. Now, let's say we were moving, not through space, let's say we were moving forward in time as we're moving forward here. We're traveling through time and we're seeing this same pattern repeated. See, there it is again. It looks slightly different this time. The heart looks a little lopsided there, but we're still seeing the same 3 circles. It's still the same describable pattern of repeated. We can see the similarity. So just how far down have we gone at this point from the original image? And we are down on a very minute scale. Just thinking that we're going through time. The video is going to pause here. And here, whoa, this looks like a rather different shape. This certainly looks new and surprising. As we go down into it, smaller and smaller, we start to see the same pattern emerge here on this infinitesimally small scale, or if we want to look at this going forward in time, we have gone very much forward. Here's the exact same shape again. So it took some pictures along the way of when we saw the first shape, and then when we saw the shape again, and then we saw this shape again. It's a pattern. It's a set definable pattern that you could describe. This is what it looks like, and we keep seeing it over and over again. It's 3 circles, each one larger than the other, and the last one's really more of a heart shape. And so here we can describe what it looks like with words. There, we could draw it, but we can also describe, well, you have a small circle, and you have a larger circle, and then you have this heart shape coming off of that. And so we can describe it, and we see it over and over again. Kind of like, there will be enmity between you and the woman, and your seed and her seed, and he shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. If that was a shape instead of words, is what I mean. This is like a fractal. You move forward in time, whether you're on a big scale, whether you're on a large scale, you're seeing the same pattern over and over again, all over the place. And so putting this on the chart, you can see this going over time. So, on a big scale, on a small scale, we're talking about Cain and Abel, two people's lives. We're talking about, an Israelite versus a Gentile in battle. We're seeing the conflict between good and evil. We're seeing Christians versus in spiritual warfare against the demonic. We're seeing good and evil conflicting throughout time. We're seeing war between holy angels and fallen angels. We're seeing groups of people. We're seeing individual lives. Whether we're looking at a big scale or we're looking at a small scale, no matter how forward in time we go and how small it might seem, we're seeing this same thing just permeating all of reality. And the conflict between good and evil is described here, and it's on every scale, and it's the same pattern repeating in big ways over time, as shown on the chart. So, again, once a cyclic prophecy has begun and started to be fulfilled in part, it can continue to be fulfilled in various ways until it is all fulfilled and can be fulfilled no more, like a fractal. This doesn't mean necessarily that all cyclic prophecies are this way, but they can be. And this one establishes some precedent for that. So, let's review of what we've learned from Genesis 3:15. These 6 ways we've learned from prophecy in the Bible are self-evidential. They are derived from how the Bible confirms in truth that Genesis 3:15 has been fulfilled per the Scriptures, and how it will be fulfilled per the Scriptures. So this is what we drew from that. 4, look at the rest of the Bible to figure out symbolism. 5, prophecies may have both a literal and or spiritual fulfillment. 6, prophecies may be fulfilled in stages, some parts immediately, some in the near future, while the rest waits to be fulfilled in the far future. 7, prophecies can be cyclic and are equally valid in real fulfillments in every fulfillment. With Jesus and Satan, we see this. 8, in cyclic prophecies, the same words can have different meanings in different fulfillments, but the relative symbolism of comparisons or actions represented between words is the same. And 9, once a cyclic prophecy has begun and started to be fulfilled in part, it can continue to be fulfilled in various ways until it is all fulfilled and can be fulfilled no more, like a fractal. So it seems that understanding Genesis 3:15 as a prophecy in full, we have gained enough wisdom to at least understand this one teaching example prophecy and learn some of his ways regarding symbolism and prophetic patterns. In the last section, it was the first 3 examples of chronology breaks that seemed significant. So, having covered the first prophecy in the Bible, let's look at least at the next 2 also to see if any other insights as to his ways are to be found in them.